What are the most common advertising mistakes related to placements? We're going to cover that today. You can read my blog post on this as well at johnloomer.com/placements. So mistakes made in this area tend to come down to one or two things. It's either inaction or just too much tinkering. And we're going to get into both of these shortly. So first, let's set the scene a bit. At the ad set level, we have the option of manually changing placements. And back in the day, it was extremely common to remove what we considered to be ineffective placements. But what I found even way back then, I wrote a blog post back in 2013 about how advertisers needed to stop removing the sidebar placement, is there was a misconception. They were looking at what is the conversion rate? What is the rate of people clicking, the click-through rate? But the reality was it was so cheap to reach people in that placement that it was still worthwhile. Now, back then when advertisers were removing these placements and just focusing on news feeds as an example, they didn't necessarily suffer the consequences because it was so cheap to reach people. But fast forward, it's way more expensive now, so there may be times where you are actually hurting yourself by removing some of these placements. Now, Meta is even making it really hard for you to remove placements these days. Advantage Plus placements is a default. You got to go through a bunch of clicks to remove anything. But should you remove placements? In some cases, yes. In other cases, no. It depends on the optimization. So when I talk about the optimization, I'm referring to the performance goal. This is you defining what it is you want to accomplish. Meta's own ad algorithms at that point will be entirely focusing on that, trying to get you as many of that thing within your budget as possible. There are times when that's going to work for you in your favor. There are other times where that's going to work against you. And placements are a part of this. So first up, let's talk about conversions. If your performance goal is any type of conversion, all right, you're optimizing for maximum number of conversions, value, it could be leads. The conversion event shouldn't matter a whole lot as long as it's some type of conversion. In those cases, what is Meta doing? They're doing everything to get you as many of that thing as possible within your budget. So should you remove placements? I say absolutely not. Because if a placement isn't contributing to those events, Meta is not going to waste a significant portion of your budget on that placement. It is going to respond in real time. It's also going to respond based on historical data. I'm actually going to show you some examples of that where it's absolutely the case. For the same reason you should leave all placements on when optimizing for any type of conversion, you should consider removing placements if you're going to optimize for anything top of the funnel. So especially link clicks, landing page views, also seen it in ThruPlay. Why? Because there are certain placements that are prone to weaknesses. So low quality actions, low quality clicks, low quality view throughs. And so you might say, well, then if that's true, why wouldn't you remove these placements when optimizing for a conversion? Because a low quality click, if it doesn't lead to the conversion, Meta's not going to keep showing your ads in that placement. Sure, you can just scratch it off your list and immediately remove it if you want. There's really no reason though. But where you have to be really careful is if you actually optimize for link clicks, landing page views, because the algorithm is thinking, this is what you want. I'm going to get you as many of these things as possible within your budget. And you don't care what these people do later. You just said you wanted a link click or a landing page view. So it'll load you up, especially on Audience Network, to get you as many of that thing as possible. Let's give you a couple of examples now. So I actually ran a split test related to quality traffic. I optimized for link clicks in one, landing page views in another, and a quality traffic metric for a custom event in the third one. And in each case, I went broad, US, UK, Canada, Australia, all placements. So wouldn't you know it, when I optimized for link clicks, 709 of the 719 link clicks came from Audience Network. And you can imagine those were all low quality. So 98% essentially of my budget was spent there. Kind of crazy that would be, right? It's almost as if Meta knew they could get the cheapest link clicks there. Well, what happened with landing page views? Similar, not quite as bad, But 256 of the 300 landing page views came from Audience Network. Actually, there are two different audience networks. So an even bigger chunk, I guess, once you include desktop as well. So very few of them came from Facebook feed mobile app, which is interesting because the cost to get those landing page views was actually less than the mobile audience network, but Meta barely tried and then barely spent any budget anywhere else. So what happened when I optimized for a quality visitor, which is based on time spent and scroll depth, and so they can't just immediately abandon? Crazy thing, Audience Network is nowhere to be found. Meta doesn't even try, almost as if they know you're not going to get quality traffic. You're not going to get anything beyond a link click if we optimize for that. Let's use another example, ThruPlays. This is kind of crazy. I still remember when I stumbled on this. I was getting insane cost per ThruPlay when I promoted a video. And that's people watching at least 15 seconds of your video, if not to the end. And I was like, okay, is that a penny cost per ThruPlay? This is barely any budget spent on it, because then I figured out what was happening. I broke down. If you're not familiar with how you find these results by placement, click this drop-down menu. You might even have recently used or popular placement, but otherwise it's going to be under delivery and select placement. It'll create a different row for each placement. 654 of the 665 ThruPlays came from Audience Network rewarded video. So what is it about that placement that I might be concerned about? Let's see how Meta defines it. Rewarded video ads are a full screen experience where users opt in to view a video ad in exchange for something of value, such as virtual currency, in-app items, exclusive content, and more. So basically, when someone sees this ad, it's not that they're super excited about your ad and want to watch to the end. It's they're actually in the middle of playing some game on their phone that is monetized with Audience Network rewarded video. And in order to get some virtual currency or something else in that game, they need to watch this video. I think we've all been there where we've seen apps that do that. They don't care about your video. And what you'll see is these people won't do anything else. They don't click. So sure, maybe it's fine for awareness, but if you are hoping that they will perform another action, they won't do it in most cases. So bottom line, when it comes to placements, if you're optimizing for any type of conversion, use Advantage Plus placements, where it gives the algorithm the ability to access any of the placements. It may not use them all. It may not use Audience Network, etc., but at least allow that possibility in case maybe you can get some conversions from there. Otherwise, if you're optimizing for anything top of the funnel, so that's link clicks, landing page views, probably post engagement, ThruPlays, be very careful. I mean, it's questionable whether you should be optimizing for those kinds of actions anyway because of quality concerns, but placements will make it even worse because the algorithm doesn't care whether these people do anything else. It just thinks you want this action. We're going to get you as many of this thing as possible. Do not assume that they're going to do anything else. Don't assume you're going to be able to attract a bunch of quality traffic or ThruPlays. It will be very hard. It's always going to go after how can I get the most of these at the cheapest price, period. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Once you kind of get that, you'll start to understand the weaknesses in optimization and also how you can leverage it too. So for more on this, again, check out my blog post at johnloomer.com/placements. All right, thanks.